Welcome to episode 60 of Ring Talk. Myself, Martin Theobald, and with Steve Goodwin.
Morning.
Right, we'll crack straight on with the action from the weekend. Jumaane York Hall with Florian Marku. Again, looks like a serious talent.
He's a proper fighter. People, yes, he's got a massive fan base. Yes, he generates, an amazing atmosphere. But he is a proper fighter. He's not one of these token fighters. He's really decent.
So he's gone to 3-0, 3 stoppages.
2 in 1 round, 1 in 2 rounds.
Yeah, there aren't many that are doing that start their career in that kind of fashion. Now, granted, this wasn't the opponent that you wanted first of all. You wanted Robert Asagba. That fell out in the last few days. But this guy came over 3-0 himself.
He's 3-0 with 3 KOs. He's a former kickboxer who had performed at a high level, had never been stopped in kickboxing, never been stopped in MMA. So nobody had ever done this to him before.
And Florian's finished him.
Done him twice, knocked him down in the first round, then finished him off, and he just basically couldn't get up.
Yeah. So, I mean...
the Mouselek said he's never been hit like that in his life. He said they come so fast you can't even see them. he said he has sparred with decent people abroad in Germany. He said he has never ever been hit that hard.
Wow.
And that fast.
Okay. So what do you do with Florian now then? I know it's a difficult one because he's got his own team of people as well that are involved in things, but as a manager of somebody who's now 3-0, 3 KOs, people presumably aren't going to want to fight him, are they?
I think.
Or are they?
I think they fight. They just want more. People will just want more than the normal money they get for so many rounds, which is fair enough. I mean,
but Florian doesn't want the journeyman, does he? Florian wants the fights.
He wants people that are going to come and try and win, and are going to put up a show. I mean, Robert Asagba, for example. Apparently, he's called for. Well, I manage Robert as well. You know that, but he's called for the fight again yesterday. Apparently, now Florian will quite happily oblige. As long as he doesn't pull out again. Yeah. Because they were really pissed that he pulled out. Because Robert has pulled out a few times before. Robert knows that. I mean, been unlucky, very unlucky. So that fight can be made as long as he does go ahead. Yeah. Because they will be totally pissed if he pulls out again. Yeah. So I will speak to Robert. If he really wants to fight, he can have to fight with Florian. Again, Robert would be definitely his biggest test, because Robert is a skillful fighter. Yeah. But if it's a fight they want, it's something we can do. But there's other fights as well out there. There's a lot of other people that have come forward that we're looking at, and that will be his next fight. But we're obviously working on the next stage of his career at the moment, and hopefully we'll be able to announce that all next week.
What titles is Florian eligible to fight for?
Well, he's not interested in.
Doesn't want belts?
Well, he does.
Well, he wants just not.
No, he wants to get to his 10 and go down the international route.
Okay.
WBA, WBC, IBF internationals.
So those southern areas.
He's not eligible for that. Not eligible for English. He's eligible for European, but he says I want to get to my 10 and go down the international route. So he's and whether he does that with a promoter or whether he does that on his own. Yeah. He can do it on his own. He doesn't actually need a promoter to do what he needs to do. But it will be nice for him to work with, and I'll say we're a promoter, but with a promoter with television at some point down the line. Yeah. Because there's a massive television base for him around Europe. He's so well known. He's like David Beckham over there. So there's a massive market for television for his fights to be shown around Europe, and therefore that's really what he wants. Now he could bring in a TV crew himself to do it. He could literally do that. But we would like to work with a bigger promoter, and it's something we're working on at the moment.
So he's going to be an attractive prospect whichever way it goes. There will be others out there that he will be attractive to work with for others.
For sure. I mean, it's not only can he fight, but I don't know, as far as somebody who's had 3 fights, I don't think in history there's been anybody that, based in Britain, and I might be corrected by somebody else, then there may be, but I don't know anybody that generates what he generates in terms of fan support after 3 fights, and it's only going to grow. It's only going to grow.
I mean, it's kind of Joshua levels, isn't it? Don't get me, I'm not saying Joshua now, but Joshua at that early stage of his career, the form.
Well, he can feel your call up on his own.
Yeah.
But and with on a bigger, even if it was a bigger show, he would fill it up even more and more. And he's the real deal. And it is something that we are looking. We're looking at the next plan. Obviously, what happened when Florian came to the UK was I was just a promoter to him. Now I'm obviously his manager, which we did a few weeks ago. So now it's a different role I can perform. So I can now navigate his role and who we work with and how we do it. And it's going to be a very exciting journey. And then the undercard, there were fighters on there that. Unfortunately, first thing, Martin Foru. Didn't fight. I was gutting for him. The opponent weighed in too light, and the board wouldn't allow that. So I was absolutely gutted for Martin.
And I know there were literal last minute attempts to get somebody else in.
I spent an hour on the phone trying to get people down. It was just.
I saw Darren Goodridge. It was his Facebook post saying, just had a phone call off a whip that I know, seeing if I could get to York Hall. He said, my first instinct is, I can be there, but it'll take me 2.5 hours. Like, it's going to be too long. I love Darren Goodridge.
He's a good guy. So we tried everywhere. Everybody tried, but we couldn't do it. Martin is a good talent, and I was gutted for him, but that was a negative. The show started off with the comeback of Nathan Weise, who looked good. He beat Dwayne Green. He shaped off the rust. He's gone up to normal weight, and Nathan will be out again on this first June show.
Right.
And he's just going to build back towards titles, and I think it was one last crack at a big title, and there's no reason why we can't generate that for him. So he put on a good performance against Dwayne Green. Adrian Martin. Now he fought Dal Arrowsmith, and Dal he busted his ear after 2 rounds, had to withdraw. But I will say this about Adrian, and he did not look very good against Jumaane Camero. I thought he blew up badly after 2 rounds. And I'll say the truth, and I'm not just saying it because I like Adrian. He looked a totally different fighter on Saturday.
Right.
Sharp, cluster the punches, combinations. He really did look the part, and it looked like a totally different man. And I was really, really impressed. And whilst the fight lasted 2 rounds, he definitely has now been able to put to bed that previous performance, and we can now look at moving on. And I was very happy for him that he was able to do that, because Adrian was so much better than that fight, and Jumaane performed well, but Adrian wasn't at the races.
And did he bust up Dale Arrowsmith's ear?
Yeah.
Fair enough. But I was thinking maybe somehow.
No. That was
Adrian had done the damage. Good. Good on you, Adrian.
Yeah,
not for Dale.
He really was. He did look the part, Adrian. I've got to be fair. And he'd done the damage. It was good. But obviously Dale, I hope Dale's all right. But he's got to have 28 days now. But I like Dale's a good man and a warrior.
Yeah.
But Adrian did look good. Anelle Massey unfortunately lost. Right decision. The thing with Anelle is it's really different. She's took a fight, and she's a warrior. She took a fight that in normal circumstances you wouldn't take. But when you're dealing with women fighters, sometimes it's very difficult to get opponents and very expensive. And the board turned down the first opponent we got her, and so she was forced into this or not fighting.
So it's a heavier weight opponent
who we didn't know what we were fighting, because the board are now being so restrictive on a lot of opponents. It's becoming tougher to match, and fights that she should have in normal circumstances 6 months ago would have got in aren't getting in.
But playing devil's advocate to that, I saw who Shannon Courtney boxed on her debut. And she looked like she'd come out of a boxercise class an hour beforehand.
But then this girl could have looked like that because we didn't know what we were getting. The problem was the reason that the girl was turned down before, which is really frustrating. She'd been over to the UK, lost some points to Cheryl Brown, but she's just turned 40.
Right.
And I know the boards haven't got an official policy about 40-year-olds, because some 40-year-olds get in, but generally, once you hit 40 as a foreign opponent, you don't get allowed in.
Fair enough.
So that was why she was turned down. And you left with this one. It was just unfortunate. This 1-0 girl could have been awful. There's no footage or anything, but she was actually reasonably decent.
You're going in blind. And I think that's just unfortunate, but we had no choice. It was that or nothing. But from Anelle's point of view also,
there's no doubt in my mind that she needs more time. She needs more time in the gym. Her fitness level doesn't. I mean, it was a high work rate fight, but her fitness level, she wasn't throwing enough. I think she's going to be a really good fighter, but I just don't think she's really ready.
She's still learning what she's doing. She's with Dan Woodgate, isn't she?
And Terry Coulter's going to help out as well with her. And I think Anelle will end up being a very good fighter.
Even if her record doesn't suggest it right now.
No, but I think she will. But I think there are things that need to be worked on, and I think they're better worked on outside the ring rather than in the ring.
Yeah.
Because she should be. These two, the first opponent she fought and drew with has subsequently come out and lost a couple of fights on the bounce. So, you know.
Is that one that you would look to get back?
100%. But I'd like to get that one back for her next fight.
Yeah.
But I want her to have improved in a few departments first. I think she'll be fine, but I think she just needs a bit more work done. That's all.
But I mean, she is a high-class athlete, isn't she? You know, she comes from a footballing background.
Yeah.
She's got, plenty of all the raw materials are there. It's just fine-tuning.
Yeah, but yesterday the thing was this other girl just threw volumes. This girl wasn't technically brilliant, her opponent, but she threw lots of volume, and Anelle was struggling to keep up with the volume back in return. And you've got to understand that this girl was only given 4 days notice, but she was obviously supremely fit.
Yeah.
But if Anelle had that little bit better conditioning and a little bit more work, she'd been able to pick off and move. But it's not the end of the world. You look at Tevin Farmer, he lost 4 of his first 7 fights or something like that. It's not how we start, it's how we finish. I've still got confidence she'll be a really good fighter, but I don't want to see her in the ring before September.
And it hasn't disheartened her?
No.
Good.
September she'll be back, and I honestly think you'll see a totally different fighter.
Cool. And that's the undercard all ticked off?
That's the undercard ticked off. Very small fight, very small show, and it was finished off by Florian. So it was when you do those shows, they're not our shows, they're his shows, and they are basically his showcasing to move on. And at this stage, we're not planning to do another one.
Right. There are other plans.
Other plans in the horizon, but we can always do another one if we need to. Yeah. But there are no plans to do that at the moment. I think we need bigger arenas and stuff like that.
Yeah. Moving on then. When are you next back at York Hall? What are the dates?
8th of June.
Yeah, that's the Brad Paul's Darren Cordona fight.
Yeah. Then we've got the 29th, which is the Sean Robinson against John Brennan fight, and we've now added Dean Richardson, Nathan Graham, final eliminator for that same title on the same show. So
you're going to put them back to back?
Yeah. So you have the final eliminator and the championship in the same weight.
Yeah.
So that
get the winners in the ring after.
Yeah. Because that's great. But basically, Sean was due a voluntary, and he could have chosen Dean as his voluntary, but a voluntary is a choice rather than a mandated position. But then Dean wants to get in for that title, so Dean now will earn his right if he beats Nathan, and so therefore that's back to back. So there's 2 good fights. We've got more title fights working as we speak. The 6th of July, Daniel Mendes defends his cruiserweight Southern Area title, but I can't confirm that fight yet because we're waiting for approval.
It's a good fight.
It's a good fight, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then there are 2.
Do you manage your ball?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. And it's a great fight. And then we've got the two other fights apart from that we're hoping to put on in June or July. At least 2 title fights.
Right.
Some really good things I'm working on today, so it's really exciting.
You're not going to work Mondays either.
Oh yeah, but it's not work, it's fun. When I say I'm not working, I've come in today to do this. I don't know what one is. I'm doing some matching for the shows. I'm doing some title negotiations. This is the fun bit of my day. Sort out some stuff with Florian, and then I have to go shopping.
You love the negotiations though, don't you?
Yeah, it's great fun.
Yeah.
Much better than going around Ranch and IKEA, which I'm going to have to do this afternoon.
Oh yeah, whereabouts?
Milton Keynes.
Oh yeah, oh shit.
I know, it's bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't really, that's more like work than this is. So the actual negotiating of the fights is is something I enjoy. The manoeuvring fighters into titles, creating opportunities for them, and that's what I like to work on.
Is that why you're still doing the boxing? Like, it keeps the brain, because the finance side, I guess, not to say you've completed it, but you are on top of that, and all your finance business, I'm not saying it runs itself because you put many hours in, but the boxing side is always a constantly evolving challenge, keeps the brain working. Like my parents sit and play Sudoku and keep their brain and play backgammon. Do you do this to keep your brain fresh?
The financial stuff is, I've been doing it for 30 years. I look after substantial amounts of client money. I'm good at it, very good at it. I understand, I tailor the certain financial products to clients, and I know my stuff, and I know my tax angles inside out. So I arrange finance for clients, I do all of that, but it's very easy in terms of...
Yeah, I'd imagine once you're really good at it,
you're really good at it.
Yeah.
It's very, very easy. So to every client that I look after, they will turn around and say to me, God, you're amazing, it's fantastic what you do. But for me, it's easy.
Yeah.
Now the boxing, you have to think, how do I move that to that? How do I manoeuvre that to that? How do I get him in there? There's a gap there. How do I make that happen? How do I do that? How do I plan to get him in there? Oh, well, that's the easier route. Let's negotiate that. That's really good fun.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're delivering an opportunity for somebody that you that can change their boxing.
So it's like playing a real life game of chess.
Yeah. The way I look at it, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And you work
not to
out.
disrespect the boxers and say that they're pieces, but
no,
you're helping their careers move forward.
Well, they want me to do that because that's how they get the best benefit for their career.
Yeah.
You put them into positions by outmanoeuvring the opponents.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing, and I think I'm quite good at it. So that's what I do. So, but you're doing it with what they want in their life, and then you're trying to help them. Yeah. And I love it. I love helping fighters manoeuvre through to titles and helping them in their careers and doing a better job for them than otherwise would have happened. That's what I try to do.
All right. Do you watch any other boxing over the weekend?
I watched Dubois Larty.
Fun fight. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy the card. I thought the card was very poor.
I think so. I mean, the only two fights on paper really was Langford against Lone Richards. But Lone Richards is a supreme talent.
He is good, isn't he?
But not necessarily the most exciting.
It's not TV friendly necessarily.
But he's got a great fighter,
and he's going to be avoided, isn't he?
Yeah.
There's no super middleweight.
Wants to fight him.
Yeah,
fight him.
Because also he's fresh to people. He's not been built up over time. He's been on dinner shows. He's been in the shadows a bit, and that was his big opportunity. And he took it, and he made Langford look, not as good as Langford is.
It's taken him long because he's not a ticket seller.
Yeah.
So consequently, if you're a promoter like Frank Warren is, you have a fighter that's talented but doesn't generate you any cash.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's why he's gone under the radar, because he's not generating like Dubois and Yard are, the big headlines and the excitement. So you've got a non-ticket seller, really super talented but not the most TV friendly. It's a much harder job to develop that fighter.
That Dubois Larty fight was fun. Too big. And credit to Larty, I want to see him back again.
He had a go.
Yeah, he would just stand on the ropes, have the gloves up, let Dubois throw, and then throw with him.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I think. I mean, I got somebody put a post on YouTube last week saying that he doesn't understand what my motives are, that I shouldn't be criticising a Matchroom card because otherwise they might not want to work with me and stuff like that. I think it's fair to be observant and say when you think things are good and bad. I don't really... This is the problem in boxing. Because you work with somebody, why should I be criticised for criticising somebody that I work with if their card isn't good enough? But this is what's wrong with boxing. Nobody wants to say the truth about what they feel.
But in any other walk of life, you can criticise people that do something in the same realm that you're doing it. It's not to say they're terrible people. It's not to say...
So that particular product wasn't as good as it could be.
Yeah. And
I think but I had this thing and it carried on and we gave up with it, but it just carried on. But the bottom line was I don't see that because I could do business with somebody next week that somebody asked me or we're discussing about a particular show. Like the Frank Warren show wasn't fantastic on paper, was it? It wasn't. I think they're moving for, and the general TV cards this year have generally, across the board, not been great.
No, I agree.
To be fair, they haven't been great. The product hasn't been as good as it should be. And I think that's fair. However, I think July could be really good because you've got The Frank Warren team have got the 13th of July at the O2. Eddie Hearn's got the 20th of July at the O2. So they've got a week after another. Both of them got the O2 books.
Okay, so what's on each?
Well, I only know
probably
that we've got. Dubois on the 13th.
When Revis White is that?
That's the 20th.
Right.
You've got Revis White, Alan Price on the 20th.
Yeah.
Possibly Chisora Parker on the 20th. And then on the 13th you'll have, they've already said Daniel Dubois on, but I would imagine that Frank Warren will try and build a really good card on the 13th to rival the 20th. I think you can find really good, I think you'll see some good cards in July.
You wouldn't be surprised if Billy Joe Saunders was on that in some way, assuming the Stevenage fight he comes through and wins in a manner that he probably should.
I mean, I don't know, I've got no information. I can see them doing Nathan Gorman against Dubois or something like that on there.
I was saying this the other day, they ought to sign Hughie Fury up as well. If you had Hughie Fury, Joe Joyce, Nathan Gorman, Daniel Dubois, then you've got the next 6 to 12 months of headline acts sorted. You could just intersperse each of those in some way. You've got 12 months worth of decent TV fights.
That's a smart move signing. For them, it's a smart move signing Joe Joyce. They're a really good move. Really good move. So I think July, I think we could see two really good cards in July. And what's been thingy about the Matchroom cards is that the American shows have been very good. They have.
But I don't do 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning.
No, I know, but but what I'm saying is the cards over there have been very good. They've been better than the UK ones.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But, this is what, we have to think. So, sorry if I've upset the guy who thinks that I shouldn't criticise Matchroom, but I'm sure it'll all turn around and it'll get better again. But at the moment, I think that the cards, they just need a bit of improvement. And somebody else said to me that, again, was going on about the fun fight. I said it's a fun fight Alan, against Price. And somebody said, yeah, we've got to pay for it, And I said to everybody, no, you don't have to pay for it. You
make a choice.
You make a choice. So don't. I say about pay-per-views. If you don't like them, don't buy them, and then the promoters won't be able to put them on. So vote with your feet. It's like, for example, if you don't feel that the Conservative Party have handled Brexit very well, vote against them in the European elections and vote by your feet and say you've done a bad job where you're not going to get any seats. It's the same thing with pay-per-views because it's supply and demand, right? So
absolutely. I think if 200 people buy a pay-per-view, then pay-per-views will suddenly go out of fashion, and they'll have to find another way to make these fighters.
It's commercial. It's commercially viable. If you don't think that if you don't want to pay pay-per-view for Dillian White against Rivas and Price against I've got my own opinion on that, which I'm not. But don't pay for it, and then Dillian White, for example, won't be able to demand he's a pay-per-view fighter, and his fights will go on normal TV for lower money.
Yeah. But credit to Dillian White in the meantime for making the most of it.
Correct.
Yeah. Correct. Right, let's go on to the Q&As. As usual, I'm not very prepared. Right, where were we? Yesterday, weren't they? British Boxing Blog. Lads up north, hope you're well. Who do you think will be the next British world champion? Luke Campbell's been lined up, hasn't he, for Mikey Garcia's vacant title.
Depends on who fights. I mean, they've avoided Richard Cobbing like the plague, Luke Campbell, haven't they?
They're talking about Devin Haney, isn't they?
Sorry?
Devin Haney, was that one?
Devin Haney, those side. Luke Campbell could be, but it depends on who he fights, doesn't it? There's nobody else in line, other than being fed to Americans. Who's actually been built for a world title over here?
All right, I'm going to
Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders will be if that target's vacant. So Billy Joe Saunders will be the next champion. Provided
Kid Galahad could be
if he beats Warrington. That's possible.
Yeah,
I think Billy Joe Saunders probably.
Yeah, I think Ramirez has said that he's moving up now.
So then Billy Joe Saunders becomes the next world champion.
I'm going to put a time frame on this because you haven't. Also, what are the odds of Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce actually fighting? I'm going to put on the end of that within the next 12 months. No, I'd agree. For those listening on SoundCloud, Steve's shaking his head.
No, I mean, honestly, I don't know this. I think the whole thing of signing Joe Joyce is to make sure, partly, that doesn't happen, because they've reached an agreement but it's probably an agreement that it doesn't happen, perhaps.
Yeah.
And then it will all free up, and they'll pursue. There is no way that fight takes place next 12 months. Dubois nowhere near ready for Joyce. Joyce has got to move quicker. That fight is not happening.
Yeah. The only way I see that fight happening is for a world title.
Correct.
I don't see, like, Joyce needs to be progressed towards that world title. Dubois isn't ready for that leap yet.
And the other thing is, while Frank is a master at building up fighters, you know that.
He's done it for decades.
He's a master.
Whether you agree with how he does it or...
But he's a master at it, right? So, consequently, you'd imagine they do a lot of talking, build, and then let him go against a weak world champion at some point.
Yeah.
That's what they'll do. I believe that, and you can't blame him for that.
Will Michael on Twitter. Favourite crisps, brand and flavour?
Salt and vinegar.
What brand though?
Anything.
What about like French fries though? Or
I don't like French fries.
No, I don't understand why anyone eats them.
I like proper crisps. I'll have them in Pringles. I'll have them in, in normal crisps.
French fries are like designed to choke you.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Not right.
Yeah.
If you could be any animal, which would you be and why? It's like he hasn't given this any thought, Will.
A monkey.
I love a monkey.
Because you can run around the trees and jump around all day. You're not confined.
Chuck stuff at people from up the trees.
And you can go and nick your food and then carry on.
And they're cute as well. I love a monkey.
I'll be a monkey.
I'd love to have a monkey. I'll leave the last one off. Oliver McManus on Twitter. Could we see Mark Little in the cruiserweight edition of Ultimate Boxer?
No.
Would you love to see? Would love to see him putting himself in the mix, or indeed, are you looking at entering any other guys?
No.
It's up in Manchester, isn't it? The cruiserweight one. That probably immediately geographically rules you out of putting lads in.
Yeah.
Tim Brown on Twitter. What happened to Jamie Spate?
He's just got a medical issue that's meant he's had to take some time off. We're hoping that he's past fit again in the next 2.5 weeks.
Isn't he lined up to fight Dave Birmingham potentially?
Yes. All things being well, he's got a medical query. We think it's going to be resolved successfully, but when you have a medical query with the board, you have to go through so many hoops, and that has to be signed off. And the doctor only signs them off once a month. So if you miss 1 month by a day, you've got to wait for the next month. It's quite frustrating, really, the system. The system needs improving because you're leaving boxers without being able to earn money.
Yeah.
But it is their system. We've got to work with it, so we're hoping that we've got to wait till the second week of May for him to get signed off. So he's going away on holiday, and then
he's away on holiday. He's away in Thailand.
I know, he's back away. He's away again, and then he's away on holiday, and then he should be ready to box again in June.
Nice one. Before we go on to the last question, Jumaane Camero fought, didn't he?
Yes.
MTK
so did
show.
Phil Williams. So did Ossie Jervier.
Ossie Jervier in Swindon. Phil
Williams in Swindon.
Okay.
So Phil Williams won.
Did he?
You've got to win 40-36.
Go on, Phil.
Go on, Phil. Right. He's getting better, Phil. He has got to be the ultimate boxing professional.
Yeah.
He boxes away, he'll fight anyone. He boxes at home, sells tickets and wins and has a fight to win. And he gives everybody a fight.
Yeah.
And he's a pleasure to deal with and an honour to manage. Nicer bloke you couldn't meet. I love Phil.
Steve Pooch won at the weekend as well.
Yeah, he won away from home. Go on, Poochie.
Stoppage as well.
Yeah. So good luck to him. It was nice to see him get a win.
But yeah, Jervier fought Luke Watkins.
Yeah, he lost on points. And
that's not bad though. Going to points with Luke Watkins is respectable.
The thing is, Ossie's 37. He wants to earn money for his family now. So get some money in the bank for his family before he hangs his gloves up. Jumaane Camero fought Liam Wells. Put up a good fight. The better man on the night won. Liam Wells won. Jumaane put up a great fight as he always does.
Yeah, Jumaane's brilliant.
Yeah,
just brilliant. Like such a handful.
An absolute credit to the sport of boxing.
Yeah, he's a handful for anyone. He'll always give it a go. Yeah. It might come up short, it might not, but I wouldn't want to be in the home corner when Jumaane comes out in the away corner.
Well, you know you're in a fight, don't you?
Yeah. He's fighting again this week. Is he?
He's fighting Louis Green this week.
Nice. That's a hard fight as well.
He just wants to fight.
He loves it. Has he got a stag do coming up or something?
Probably.
Not Jumaane's like. Good on him. Seamus Campbell on Twitter. Have you or would you ever consider targeting your promotional/management platform in Northern or Southern Ireland?
No.
Because?
There's other people there already.
Yeah. So there are others that are more established in a marketplace that you can't disrupt.
Correct. It's absolutely not on the agenda in Northern Ireland. You've actually got what I consider to be a really good promoter there, Mark Dunlop.
Right.
And I think Mark Dunlop does a brilliant job. So he's from Northern Ireland, for example, he's from Northern Ireland. I know there's other people there as well, but Mark's a really good manager, does really well for his boxers, puts on great shows, does a good job, is ethical, looks after people. Now, we couldn't go there and do a better job than he does, so why bother going?
I think you said it before with Tyrone McCulloch, when you managed him over in Ireland, and then he went to MTK, and you were quite honest that that is the right thing for him, because MTK can do a better job in Ireland than you could do.
And I'm not going to stand in the box where I don't want to sign fighters where I can't do the best job for them. And we're not interested in global domination. We're interested in getting a fighter, getting to know them as a person, developing them, helping them. We can't really do that over in Ireland, and I'm not going to set up a base in Ireland. I'm quite happy with the way things are. We're quite happy to do it the way we're going. We're not looking to go around the world and open up different groups in different areas. I don't want to dilute what we're doing.
Yeah. All right, that's all the questions. Subscribe, hit subscribe on YouTube. Forgot to say it at the beginning. Some boxer out there, whoever it is, or coach, or trainer, or manager, or whoever, send me your sponsors. I'm going to give them a mention next weekend. Mark Nielsen, whoever sponsored your show in Swindon at the weekend, send me their details.
It was a good show that was. Okay, good reports from Mark, and he's doing a good job down in Swindon.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone who wants to send me their sponsors, don't have to be Steve's fighter necessarily, just someone that we can support boxers with. Exactly. I'm happy to do that. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll be around next week.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Lovely, cheers.